And I'm clicking. It's clicked.
All right. Greetings. Welcome to or welcome back to Morbid Monday, your unhinged source for what the fuck moments throughout history, where we will take you on a tour weekly. I missed a line entirely, but you know what? It's fine.
It's that kind of day.
It is. Ironically, it's a very sleepy Tuesday on this Morbid Monday.
Very much so.
But anyway, so we're going to tell you about gross shit in history. All right, bet. Let's go.
What is our topic today? As I play with my voice is too deep, so I'm having to turn my gain up because it's not registering my voice.
Oh,
it's
no.
Getting really, yeah.
And then there's me over here just shrill. Gain turned all the way down. If it was possible to put it in the negative, I would.
Good news for you. I've already done it.
Perfect.
On the electronic soundboard.
Bravo. Thank you. Because I could drop into the also range, but apparently that is capital T, capital V, the voice, and I should not do that in public.
The voice. Oh, I see. I got you. I see now. It took me a second. I was like, what is the voice? And I was like, oh, no, I know it. It's the you're in trouble voice.
The you're in trouble or you're really, really not.
That kind of. I see.
Anyway, so welcome to today's Morbid Monday. This particular topic came at me courtesy of a part of my research from my previous topic. I kind of face planted into it and started to redirect to do it, and then was like, no. I had to go get the squirt bottle on myself. No. So today's topic is the Swill milk scandal.
Ah, I know this.
Yes.
I know of this, not in great detail anyway.
So, okay, I kind of same. I knew it was a thing, only I did not realize how much of a thing or how long of a thing it was until I started to dive into it, because my problem is because it kept branching because there was so much that happened with it. So I guess to get it out of the way first, we'll do some trigger warnings because this particular topic is kind of just generally gross. There is animal cruelty involved. If you are sensitive about food horror, this is not the episode for you. And also infant mortality.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll give you a couple minutes to decide on that, and then you made your choice. Because I didn't know some of this going into it. So our time period for this is the 1830s through to about the early 1860s, which is a pretty broad period, given. It's the second industrial age. We're coming up on the Civil War.
Yeah, given how rapidly America develops.
Yeah,
right?
and actually that this happened because of that.
As they do, yeah. That's the same case over in England as during the industrial age. Rapid industrialization led to no one ever being careful, ever. So
Isn't that the damn truth?
Yeah, it's just let's make money fast.
Yes.
Will it give you phosphajaw? Absolutely. But yeah. Will it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you get caught in coal chute fires? Will you get, all kinds of fucking spinning jennies who mangle your children?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, any fucking...
Speaking of manglers, so I know that hilariously, I know that you and I have had this conversation about the concept of a hot Cheeto taking out an English orphan from the 1800s.
The most, about how deeply untrue that is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no, these kids were working the mines.
Iron. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Your hot Cheeto, nothing.
That kid was drinking water from a cholera well and survived.
That kid was drinking gin, just straight.
For real. Some of the naval accounts that we get from Victorian England of
dude,
you're an officer in the Navy? How old are you? 12? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. There's a common misconception that I don't know. A child from the 1800s was a surviving child from the 1800s was frail.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with just the amount of infant mortality.
That is true. That is true. The general mortality rate around this time period was just fucking high in general because there was so much going around that could and would kill you.
Yeah.
Cholera is just a regular thing that sweeps through.
Yeah, tuberculosis is in full effect.
Yep.
And
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And then, like, I think for a lot of people who are on the, like, politer end of that is that they kind of go, not polite, that's the wrong word, but, like, on the more realistic end of that is they think of, like, a starving child, of, like, Oliver Twist type kid.
Yeah, no, Oliver
Tiny
Twist would have
Tim.
eaten the entire bag of Takis. What are you talking about?
Pain or no pain.
Like, peel the bag
Yeah.
open and lick the inside of it.
Yeah,
As we did in middle school.
for real.
And there's also this hilarious misconception about, like, English food in general.
Oh, about how it's like there's no spice in it.
Yeah,
at
about
all.
how it's crazy bland and all of that.
Yeah, that's really only, like, it's weird because that really only exists post-industrial age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you go back before, it's people are spicing their dishes with the wild flowers that grow around Europe, and, like, some of which is, like, horseradish.
Yeah.
You know, like, the very spicy things. It's just that fucking pepper doesn't grow in England.
Yeah,
you know, like,
there's
all.
not spices that I guess we would recognize.
Yeah, no capsicum.
Yeah, and then there's insane stuff like coriander, fucking cilantro.
Yeah.
They've got cilantro.
Well, it is always weird though, because it's like, depending on who you're talking to, when you say, like, you know, European stuff or unless you're specific with a country,
Mhm.
I think the default for a lot of Americans is England and France, right? Because that's true of, like, Scandinavia. There was, like, zero spices for a long time because nothing fucking grows there. You know, Viking recipes are garbage. I mean, it's like
yeah.
it's like ham kept in milk whey so that it doesn't go bad in the winter. It's like the worst. Unless it's fish,
Yeah.
it's tough to hear.
And even then,
Yeah.
yikes. So I bring up diets to kind of give you a bit of a window into the perspective of today's topic, because, you know, we're talking about swill milk, and milk at this time period was a, like, dinner table staple, because you have to think I say civilization. I guess I should say urbanization
Yeah, that would be a
is growing at this insane rate because people are following the work. They're leaving farms, going to the city to follow the work. And cities are growing as a result thereof. And as they grow, of course, that means that not only are less people on the farm, but they're also pushing the farms back and back and back and back because the cities are growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to house the population following, like, factories, construction. So we are in an area where, a time period, I guess I should say, where you're kind of very, not even kind of, you are very limited on what you've got as far as hydration goes, because the water's not quite safe enough to drink. I mean, you can risk it. You can risk it, buddy. Like, you have the first baby steps of indoor plumbing happening. Like, you've got running water. There's no water treatment plant. There's no filtration.
Yeah, if anything approximating that comes about, it's because it's boiled.
I made a point to look up when the hell we got indoor plumbing. 1840.
1840, where it's, like,
1840.
widely available.
Yes. 1840 is where it is basically, like, built into the buildings now.
When did water sanitation? It's probably later than Civil War.
Oh, yeah. And, like, it honestly, at this time period, germ theory isn't quite as widely known as it will be soon.
Yeah, that people are still fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actively fighting it, whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
And especially in
'cause, I mean,
English medical circles.
Yeah, and you're coming out of theories of the spontaneous creation thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My favorite thing from that, the quick sidebar, is the recipe for a rat, which is that it's you take a thing of grain, put it in the corner of a building, and then cover it with a cloth for a week.
And then come back and you'll have rats.
And you have
shit.
That is the spontaneous generation of a rat. And I was like, because they just ate through the wall.
Yeah.
to get at the
the guy that went to prove his theory, like, this is how you make flies.
Yeah.
No, you've let that piece of meat go rancid and a fly has laid eggs in it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why you have flies now.
Microscopes really did a lot for the world.
No shit. So, ironically, this does tie in to our subject today. We're not actually just riffing on a tangent. This is applicable to what we're talking about today. as I said, we're in a time period where you don't have a lot of options as far as like hydration goes. Like you have juices that will be questionable in a couple of days. You have water that is just questionable all the time, even if you boil it. And then you have booze, which is fucking everywhere because beer is excellent for hydration.
Yeah, especially because you're talking about the kind of daily beer that people would be drinking for food are like brown ales.
Yeah.
And they're not super high in alcohol.
And they've been around forever.
For fucking ever. Yeah.
Forever.
People know this won't make you sick.
Yeah. And then, of course, at this point, you're also starting to get like distilleries for like liquors.
Yeah, sure.
Coming up. And then, of course, milk, which is something that most of the farm-based people are not only like, not only comfortable with, but like aware of and kind of like it's part of their daily intake.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's nutrient rich, it's calorie, it's densely packed with calories, especially like raw milk. Now I know that there is a great big thing about raw milk right now.
Yeah, that's like healthy for them because they had no other options.
And also
right? Like
they were accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Like their systems are used to it, which is a thing. Like how you go visit another country and they tell you don't drink the water?
Yeah, it's usually because of the amount of lime in the water will make you like shit yourself.
Yeah, but
that's
like
the case with Mexico, it's not that the water has shit in it, it's that it's lime water.
It's the same concept. Their systems are used to it.
Yeah. And also like the ones that, well, listeria bacteria got put into your guts and you were not naturally prone to surviving it, you would die.
Yeah.
And I think...
Well, I mean, they still do like ice cream recalls if there's...
Because it will kill you.
Yeah.
100%. And probably also these people are drinking it like farm to table, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the same day and they're not...
Yeah. So those are kind of your options. There is questionable water, le booze, questionable juice, milk.
Right. Yeah.
And also, like, milk is also like a table staple. Like, you get cheese, you get yogurt, you get butter. Like, you make things out of milk.
Yeah, that are preservable.
Yeah.
Right? Like cheeses or
cheeses, yogurts, sour cream.
Yeah, that's a daily food for most of Europe for like 1,000 years. It's like bread, cheese, beer.
Yeah, exactly. So milk is a staple. Milk is one of those things that like most people don't even consider not going without at this point. Now, I know that the majority of the adult population is supposed to be lactose intolerant because we're not designed to continue drinking milk after X point in growth and development. Yeah. But setting that aside, yes, I recognize this is a scientific fact. Moving on.
Yeah. Well, because if you never stop drinking milk, you never lose the enzymes. So like, I didn't become lactose intolerant until I quit drinking milk for like 2 years. And then I went back and tried to drink a glass of milk and fucking died. Stomach pain laying over in the bathroom. But
you just curled on the bathroom.
Because it was like a full glass of whole milk.
Oh, like, so you went like hard mode.
Well, because that's what I always drank. I always drank whole milk. And I had never gone a long period without drinking milk. And then that's when I learned that you can lose the enzymes to digest something.
So, as a result of this growing city and the population and like the farmlands being pushed out, table staples like milk, cheese, butter, yogurt, sour cream, all of the dairy shit is all getting really hard to get a hold of. Like to the point where like, and I'm going to say this and everybody here is going to go, fuck, that's it? Really? But like a quart of milk was going for 14 cents, which in 18 dick was way too goddamn much. Like the price was limited to like the upper crust.
Yeah, because that's like the cost when you look in this time period, the cost of seeing a show, which was not a movie, obviously, but like a play was like a nickel.
Yeah.
So like putting into, I don't know how much that is in today's money, but I imagine it's like $20.
Well, as past you stutter to me, take it back.
Damn.
I don't want it. Stumble enough as it is. Looking at prices and like a general kind, like I didn't go deep into this because I didn't really need the numbers. But on average, it looked like a quart of milk, like without, them being able to like upcharge for like the scarcity of it or the difficulty of bringing it in, was about 4 to 6 cents
Okay.
for a quart of milk. I don't know if anybody else knows this, but milk begins to spoil like the second it's out of the udder. Like it hits the bucket and it has already begun to deteriorate.
Yeah.
Because that is just the nature of it. So milk as we know it right now, like we would call this what they're referencing as their everyday milk. We would call that raw milk because we are used to pasteurized products. But pasteurization doesn't really become a thing until 1862. So we're about 20, 30 years too early for pasteurization. Like the theory was put forward, I believe, in 1752 by a French guy. No, by an Italian guy originally. But it never really went anywhere. And then Louis Pasteur took it over and was like, "Hold my beer, I got this."
That Italian guy went crazy.
Yeah, he did.
Kept trying to tell people that germs were the cause of disease, and they disbarred him and all kinds of stuff. Like he was not allowed to practice medicine anymore.
Lo and fucking behold, if he wasn't fucking right.
Yeah, he's very correct.
So correct. Jesus. People we owe an apology to.
There needs to be a statue of this guy somewhere.
Literally. Given the time period and the limited options for drinkable stuff, I'm sure that you all have come to the same realization that I did, that breweries and distilleries were all over the fucking place. Yeah. Because everyone and their mom was like, hey, we can make beer, and beer's safe to drink all the time.
And like everyone can.
And
it's super
everyone
easy.
can. It's so simple. So breweries everywhere. And then they were like, hard liquor. We'll do that too. That's fun. Yeah. And it comes down the grapevine that there has been an experiment run in merry old England where a brewery and a dairy hooked up. Why, you may ask? Because I said the same thing. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like a good beer cheese, but what? That was funny. Laugh.
Yeah. That look you just gave me.
Motherfucker, laugh. That was funny.
The concern of running those two things in the same place, because I know what sours are and what milk stouts are, and like part of the process is that the milk goes bad and makes a very specific flavor. It's just that the yeast bacteria kills everything because yeast is the most voracious predator on Earth.
Literally.
And
that's why you can make sourdough in a day.
Yeah, it's safe when you let the yeast kill everything off. Not quite so much when you don't.
So, this brewery and this dairy got together and they decided, hey, says the dairy, our overhead of feed for our cattle is kind of high. And the brewery goes, yo, I've got a whole bunch of like cast off. Y'all want it? And the dairy said, bet. And thus began the first experiment in Swill. Now, for those that don't know, let me back up just a little bit and give you like the barest of bare bones of how distillation and brewing works. So it starts with a core mash of some sort of grain. There's a whole list of it in here that I wrote down that I cannot currently. There it is. Found it. You can use various grains: barley, corn, sorghum, rye. Like, pick your poison.
Yeah, pretty much anything with available sugars.
Yeah, pretty much anything. And basically, how that works, especially if you're doing like beer specifically, is it boils down, and you wait X amount of time for this mixture to come to its correctness. I'm not going to give you instructions on this. No, absolutely not. You can find it anywhere on the internet.
Yeah, Barley and Hops on YouTube.com.
Exactly.
Yeah, great channel for this.
And they take the fluid off it, and that goes on to be beer or what have you. And then the mash or the swill, because it is now boiled down into like this goopy porridge.
Yeah, what you call before you make beer, the porridge is what's called the wort.
Yeah.
And then
thank you.
Go from there.
Could not for the life of me remember. I got as far as W and that was it.
Yeah.
Side note, I only know all of this because a couple of my friends are actually like into brewing and mead making and stuff. So like by proxy, is the only reason I know any of this stuff. But the distillery was like, here is our swill. Have fun. And then the dairy gave it to the cows, and the cows seemed to produce more milk. And then they kind of just went, oh, that was fun. All right, anyway, moving on. And they walked away from it. So our US brethren got wind of this and was like, holy shit, that's a good idea. So they brought the cows in to the city next to the breweries. I'm sorry,
Dude, yeah, the concern around that alone, the alarm bells are ringing because, like, in England, right, or in Scotland or wherever, most distilleries are, because of a few floods that happened, like one in Dublin where like a couple of things broke and like fucking beer drowned people.
Yep.
This happened in London too with giant vats.
There was a molasses flood too. Here,
yeah, and then because of that, most of these places are kind of
pushed out to the side.
Yeah, they're pretty sanitary also, because if you don't control the bacteria, your beer tastes weird.
Yep.
And so everything is very controlled. Liquor is especially true.
Well, we are in a time period in the US where it's kind of the wild west. Like, we are in the fuck around portion of find out. We are flying loose and free with no regulations, no rules, and no FDA.
That's right.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can see why I immediately went, the fuck, and began my research on this topic. I think the front page of my notebook has finally officially...
It's disintegrated. Like ye old tomes of lore.
It is, in fact, the oldest Morbid Monday in here. That is the Black Plague.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is my first TikTok right there. Anyway, moving on. So...
Every time you do that, it just goes spike.
The tongue pop. So the breweries and the distilleries formed an unholy alliance and moved the dairies right next to the breweries. Like, and when I say right next to the breweries, I mean, like, if the brewery had a parking lot, no, they don't.
Oh,
they got a dairy now.
That's wild.
Yeah, like the middle of the city. If y'all know anything about livestock, you know now at least that to have large farm animals like this, you need at least an acre.
Yeah, like
almost per animal.
Yeah, if you're talking about just grasslands for feeding,
yeah,
an acre per animal,
and
like
we're talking about like a dairy and pens. And not even processing at that point. It would just be like milk and go in the space of like a quarter of Walmart. Yeah,
because they're all just lined up in cells,
and they're
got to process
so small.
Yeah,
like most of these. I'm giving spoilers for later, but like, you know, I already gave you your animal cruelty warning. Most of these cows, once they are tied in to their particular little cell, they will never see the light of day again.
Yeah.
That is where they are now. And they built this sort of like, upon adding the dairies, quote unquote, into the breweries, they added like this sort of pipeline mechanism that would feed the swill into the troughs for the cows to eat. And that was all they were eating. There either was no or virtually none. That is the wrong word for that. There are no grazing lands for these cows.
So you have like a pig system.
Mm-hmm.
But because here's the thing that I'm thinking about as well is that, like, so when an English beer, like, which is mostly ales, you're going to have like dark wheat and oats.
Mm-hmm.
An American beer, because this is kind of before I guess it's because I think this is kind of before the German Pilsner thing became a big thing here.
I do not know the history of beer.
So it mostly in America for a very long time, our drink of choice was cider, because apples grow here very well, especially in the northern reaches.
And apple trees are shockingly hardy.
And they produce
prolifically. Yeah.
Once your apple tree gets so old that it won't produce, you can literally graft another tree into it and it will start producing again. So like,
it's very cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And
there are a couple of orange trees that'll do that too.
But I'm thinking about like how because like with old oatmeal, I'm just like, that's disgusting. I
Yeah.
don't think they're in the vein of using like corn starches for everything.
I don't-
now. I
I
think
don't-
that's only
I don't
really
think so.
whiskey. Yeah.
I didn't really come across that. I know that corn and sorghum were mentioned in the I guess reports that I read. It, by the way, translating 1830s and 1830 to like 1860 English
Oh God.
to our English.
Yeah. What you have to do
I
is
can do it.
organize yourself a peck of corn in the lengths of 3 liters per barrel. Yeah.
I'm capable.
Kinda shit.
Because I'm used to it. Like I do a lot of historical costuming stuff, which occasionally means that I'm in extant like garments and extant books and documents and stuff. So like I'm used to it.
Yeah.
So I can kind of, it takes me a second to be like, oh, what? Now who?
How many times did you come across the word coop?
So many.
Yeah, because it's weird.
So many. And then like originally my brain kept going coup and I was like, who are we overthrowing?
Right. For those of y'all like not in the know for this, a cooper is a barrel maker.
Yes.
So if your last name is Cooper, good chances are that your ancestors were barrel makers. And a coop is a barrel,
Yeah.
not a chicken coop, which is like it's English has a lot of words that mean like 5 different things.
And they don't always spell it COOP.
No.
It will occasionally be COUP,
Right.
which is why I was like, I didn't know we were doing a revolution. Let's go. What are we doing? Confusion. Oh, you mean coop, barrel. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were some moments in ye old English and it's not even that old at this
No.
point. Like it's
just it's before we had enough different. It's before we were all talking to each other
yeah.
rapidly. So you get these regional dialects.
Yeah. Yes, I did. All right, cool. So I skipped an entire page and managed to explain all of it while we were riffing.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, I'm getting better at
It's
this.
something I have not learned to do is just not read, but like explain. You know,
I'll be perfectly honest. You know what it comes from?
what's that?
Please don't laugh at me. It's coming from being the VP of the anime club. Because
Oh, given like synopsises.
yes, and being able, I was also one of the kids that like had kind of a foothold on Japanese.
Yeah.
So when we would gather together in our nerdy little group and watch Japanese dub anime, and the subtitles wouldn't quite like you know how occasionally there's a bit of a disconnect between the subtitles and like the tone and the situation that's happening on screen. That's where it comes from. Like being able to like, I'm also hella dyslexic, so I learned to read things multiple times very, very quickly. And who says anime doesn't give you skills? Moving on. So when I tell you that they built these like pipelines down into, I hesitate to call it a dairy because it is not a dairy as we think of it. Like when you think of a dairy, you think of great open pastures where you have like herds of cattle just moseying along as they please. And then like at X time on the 3rd day after they've already been milked, said cow will be like, I am uncomfortable and go up to the stall to be milked because they know that it will bring them relief.
Yeah, but not in factory farms.
No.
Even today, that's still a thing, is that like all the pigs, all the cows, all the chickens are in tiny little cells.
But it's only temporary. Like they're in there
No.
to really.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, like that's even
Burst my little sunshine
no,
bubble.
Even
That's
with
awful.
even with dairy farms.
That's terrible.
Yeah, like
I don't
the-
like that.
a great deal of them are in larger cells than they used to be, because now we understand that you have to like get the shit out of the stall
Yeah.
on a very regular basis. But anything that has to do with like beef cattle roam,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no reason to just keep them in the chute, but like pork, like pigs in factory farms, and even some beef cattle farms, they just stay in a cell. The difference between the slop that you're talking about and what they do now is that the food comes in dry,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's like a pipe for water, a pipe for food.
That's horrifying, and I did not know this.
Yeah, even chickens when they're like, well, they're free range.
I did know about chickens.
Yeah.
But I also please don't hate me for this. I have an unreasonable terror of chickens, so I'm okay with them being in a box.
Chickens, yeah, chickens don't care as much, but also like a lot of the times, even if you hear free ranged, what that means is that there's a big covered awning, and a lot of chickens are in what kind of looks like a if you've ever seen somebody training a horse,
yes,
just the big dust ring. Yeah. Right, it's a big like area that's in a if you've ever seen
someone training a horse, he says to the former horse girl,
yeah, right,
bitch.
And then a person, like they either feed from the ceiling or the person goes by and like does this, right?
Okay, that I'm familiar with.
The thing that you're thinking of is pasture raised. If it says pasture raised, they mean that they are out in the. But that's not always doable, because to give some grace to the mass farming community, farmers, like if it's a family owned farm, they probably do spend a lot of time in a yard, even like dairy farmers, because there's not a reason to keep them in the pen 24/7. When you get up to the number of like having several thousand cattle for dairy, they don't move a lot because there's not a place for them to go. The logistics of having that many cattle moving around at one time. So what you'll end up having is something like a stall field situation where they do move, but not it's not like they're roaming around in grass meadows, right? And the same is true for pigs. Like part of the issue around pigs is that their poop is very dangerous. It carries a lot of disease. And like if you've ever, farm guys know this, but like a cesspit has to be dug for pigs, and you don't grow anything near that, because it'll have bacteria on it and stuff like that. That farm field alone, that's for the pit, that's just for that pit. You don't do anything with it. It's toxic. The reason why we associate cattle with big open grounds is because most of the cattle industry is not factory farms. Most of it is you own 10 acres, you have cows, you bring them in and sell them.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to. Like that's what my family did.
But the dairy industry is not organized the same way as beef cattle. You also have winters. So like the first mass dairy industries were up in like the Midwest, right? They have the land. So like when you think of dairy cows like walking around in the land, that's what you're going to see, because they have the physical open space for it. And you're right. Like they come in, they get milked, they go back out.
Yeah.
The way that the factory farming can get so bad that they're all in a cell and then they're fed hormones to keep them producing milk, or they're constantly pregnant.
Yeah,
right?
I knew about that.
So they're in a cell, they're being milked every once in a while. They might move around a little bit. Like the pigs never leave. Some of the times the chickens never leave. They have to be fed antibiotics because this living situation is so dangerous for bacteria that you have to give them antibiotics. That's why like sometimes your chicken and pork and stuff says no antibiotics. They mean that they're raised in a more open space so that we don't have to pump them full of antibiotics to keep them alive.
Huh.
So like, yeah, the meat industry's kind of fucked.
No kidding.
There's a person named Temple Grandin that had a lot to do with how animals are slaughtered. She revolutionized the way that's done to make it safer for both the farmers and more humane and all kinds of stuff. Most of the niceties of farming are a very recent development.
Yeah, I gathered that.
Yeah, yeah.
In the course of this research, yikes.
So that's my spiel of like, unfortunately, some of this like cows in pen for dairy is not uncommon even today.
Well,
yeah.
So to piggyback off of that, these dairies, beside these breweries or these distilleries, are not anything that anyone should ever consider ideal ever. And that was before they got like cracked open and investigated. People complained in general, like almost as soon as the cows started coming in, about the smell, which once again, if you're not part of the ag industry, you would probably be not aware of just how much smell is associated with farm stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. Especially that many cows in a closed area.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Like, and we're talking, according to later results, we're talking about like closed up, like windowless.
Yeah.
I want to say shack, but shack implies like individual room. This would be like a warehouse of individual shacks.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
More akin to a prison row.
Yeah,
like
basically.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like awful and horrendous. And
Jesus, I'm having flashback memories of like the Houston Livestock and Rodeo.
ugh,
And when you first walk in, the stench
Yeah.
that hits you.
dude, we went. I didn't show, but one of my very, very close friends at the time did. And like it went in you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And
And-
back in the Astrodome days, too.
Uh-huh. And the cows have personalities. And if a cow is having a no day, there's nothing you can do about that.
Exactly.
You're done.
Well, just get him to walk. Well, he's 2,000 pounds of muscle. You get him
Fucking
to walk.
how?
Yeah, like,
Have you met a Brahmin?
right.
The longer their ears, they're crazy. The crazier they are.
Oh, my God.
You want me to bully a longhorn? No.
Right. Yeah, we have enough to where, like, we irritate them and they walk forward. So, like,
Yeah.
cattle prods and loud noises.
Or you get lucky and you
Yeah.
have a cow that likes you.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that I have very limited experience in that. Typically when I was there, I was only there to pet the cow. I'd hang out at the head and just pet the nose. Ignore everything that's going on around you. You're so pretty. Pet, pet, pet.
They are dogs. They're big
Yes.
cow dogs. They're just, yeah.
New. Just off topic. The only thing that ties this into the topic is cow.
I do love jerseys, though. The typical white, black, spotted milk cow. They are so sweet.
My grandmother's paramour keeps Brahmin. And like my very first day, like being brought out to the farm out there, and I saw what kind of cattle. My father was like, "We're gonna run cows," and I was like, "Okay, cool, let's go." Where am I at? Am I at the gate, or am I on a horse with you? And then I saw it was Brahmin. It's like, I'm staying in the truck.
They are tremendously large.
Yes,
Yeah.
and have potential to be so mean for no reason.
I worked with all of our cows were black Anguses.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are big dogs.
But you can't stand behind them.
I wouldn't know. I've
It-
never
Yeah.
actively stood behind a cow. In fact, I avoid it like horses.
Same thing. They can't see behind them, so they get nervous if you're behind them. And if you get any cow, really, it's not Anguses or Brahmins, or it's all of them. They will kick you.
Yeah.
They will kick the shit out of you.
You ever been kicked by a cow? Don't.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
All right. Would you believe that we're already on the third page of my notes?
We did talk of like kind of run through it real quick in just our conversation.
Yeah. No. We're doing really well. Like we're like on topic. It's crazy. Moving on from high school. So I don't know if the civilians in the crowd know this, but when you take an animal that produces a product like milk, what that milk tastes like depends heavily on what they're eating. And that is, I would think in the 1800s, like considering that, like, I would think that would be a commonly known fact.
Absolutely. Like that's why, like French ham, for instance, there's a kind of ham that's only fed acorns or hazelnuts.
Yeah.
And like that, those two hams taste different.
What a cow or a goat, or I'm pretty sure those are like the only two like milking animals. Like commonly milked animals.
Commonly milked animals, let's say.
Like you can milk a sheep.
Yeah, that you can milk a horse milk was very
True.
common throughout Asia for a long
True.
time.
Horse milk is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't trust that.
Yeah, but I mean if you're,
If it's what you got.
the Mongolians, they all
Yeah.
had horses. So like that, yeah, everybody drank horse milk. Mare's milk, as they say.
And consider that these cows, first of all, it is almost immediately noted that the cows do not want the swill.
Yeah, because it's gross.
Yeah. Like, and not only that, but like once it hits, like when it comes down the pipe, it is boiling hot. So of course they're off put. I mean, they are a sentient animal. They're not going to be like, "Ooh, look, food. Oh, my mouth is burning. Nom 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 nom."
Yeah, to me that's fucking crazy, right? Because
like they don't give it a cooling off period. That's nuts to me.
And it's inundated with yeast.
Yeah,
because if it's coming hot, right?
Yep.
This is after they've mashed it, after it's like maturated and all that other stuff. Like depending on if it's whiskey or beer, it's been yeasted. The water has been run off of it. That's what you're going to distill or filter. The stuff left over is just yeast-ridden wheat.
Mush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're feeding it to the cows, or they're trying to feed it to the cows, and the cows don't want it. And they're going days in between eating until they're like basically starving and eating what's available, like what's there. So they're eating the mash.
Eat your twice fermented oatmeal.
Yeah. Finally. And then they're noticing that, yeah, sure, milk production is up, but now it's not quite right. This milk is blue. Why is this milk blue? And why is it so thin?
Ugh. It's thin, yeah, because there's no calories in what they're eating, and they're not producing fat.
You know this.
Yeah.
I know this.
As a beer nerd myself, I'm one of the people that you were talking about earlier.
Yes, I am.
And
that's why I was looking at you. Like, correct me, please.
I was like, ugh. Gross. Yeah. All the sugar's been eaten out by the yeast in the process of, not all of it, because it's beer, but yeah, one of the reasons we have different kinds of yeast for making beers and champagnes and wines and stuff is because they eat different. Like they do better with different kinds of starches from different plants, and they also they die off later, right? So like your higher ABV yeasts are hardy, and they eat more of the sugars out. That's disgusting. God, that's so gross.
So these dairy farmers, quote unquote, these people that are running the dairy and milking the cows and stuff are like reporting really thin, watery blue milk. And sure, there's a lot of it, but ugh. And it is, according to the papers and the papers and reports that I found, which there are some. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure it was a biased source, so I'm gonna say this, but like take it as whoever wrote it's opinion. Apparently, it tasted really bad too.
I imagine, yes, somebody had to have tried it, right?
And yeah, because
it probably tasted like,
fermented.
Yeah, because raisin bran looks the way it does because it's like bran that's been slightly fermented and then cooked. And that cooking part, that's what kills the yeast off, right? Like yeast is voracious, but it doesn't do well in heat.
Knowing what we know now and like reading about all of this, like like not only the troubles that were like, ailing the city in general, but like how dairy and stuff was handled before they started trying to do this. Like, we're talking about dairy that's coming in from, like, out of town. Like, outside of the town. Like, in from the country. Like, it is taken a ride into the city.
Yeah.
And milk is one of those products that begins to spoil the second it is released from its natural containment.
Yeah.
That was a very political way to say that.
Yeah, it's nice because, part of the thing about milk is that it carries the probiotics from the mother. It has bacteria to start with.
And you got to think about this. This is a time before refrigerated transport. So all of this milk is going into these great, what were they, aluminum at the time?
They would have been, either that or copper.
These great canisters without refrigeration, and they're traveling X number of miles into the city. And this product already has a very short expiration date.
Sheesh. Yeah.
And you're losing part of that to the travel time.
Which you'll get, like, the only reason you can do it at all is because the fat layer keeps things out.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly, right. The literal way.
And then by the time that it finally gets to market, they are left in these open like milk tins. And the product itself is spooned out by hand into these bottles as it is being purchased. Jesus H. Christ, it's no wonder cholera ran rampant. Because that is just...
And that's
a petri dish.
That's probably their cleanest option at the time, too. Because can you imagine running like a dispensary service without antibiotics or understanding how to heat treat tubes, or without like star sands, or because that's what we use now. When we sterilize our equipment, we use star sands.
I can't really comprehend this period in time. Exactly. The look on your face and how you're just...
I'm icking bad.
Yeah, it is. It is a major ick for me because, like, sure, you can take the milk that you've purchased at market that you maybe only have a day left of, like, serviceable safety from, and you can turn it into cheese. You can turn it into butter. You could turn it into yogurt, which, I mean, hey, the Greeks and Romans were doing that forever.
Right. Once it's yeasted, either the yeast will get to a point where it'll be so thick it'll die off. That's what you get with beer.
Yeah.
You can bake it out. That's what you do with bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, or you can make it so thick that it can't hold anything, which is what you do with cheese. You know, like it's bacterialized. The stuff dies off.
The whole thing, and so this product that was a table staple has now joined the ranks of the unsafe, because like people out in the country are used to having 3-4 days of milk.
Yeah. And
it's safe. It's okay. Like you can drink that. Or you can drink that, you can use that.
If you have a cold cellar, even longer.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah.
And now you're in the city and you say you're freshly moved to the city, right? And you buy milk at market and you've been told that this is fresh farm fresh milk.
Ooh.
So you're purchasing this farm fresh milk for 14 cents for a quart because you paid the premium because you need milk in your house. And now your timetable for using said product has gone from 3-4 days, if you keep it cool in the shade, like, you know, sealed and safe, to like 2 or 1. Or sometimes there are, in fact, complaints that I found in this newspaper clipping of people buying milk and it was already spoiled.
I would imagine so, because if it's summer,
exactly,
your milk is thin because it doesn't have enough fat in it.
And if you have any delays in transport, those milk tins are just sitting in the sun.
Yeah. Like early food distribution largely works because it's done in the cold months.
This is horrifying.
Yeah, or somebody makes some of our earliest refrigeration is people make ice in winter, store it in a giant cold
box.
Warehouse. Yeah, it's a big copper box, and then they just fill it full of blocks of ice. But or you go sail up north, grab ice, bring it back down.
Yeah.
Right? And very quickly on your steamboat or whatever. And Jesus Christ, that's so gross.
So I can kind of understand how the idea had merit to begin with, of bringing the dairies into the town. But I really feel like somebody should have gone, whoa, the second they started mass producing blue milk.
For real.
Thin, gross blue milk. But did they do that? No, absolutely not. That is not what they did. They went, fuck, it doesn't look right. It doesn't taste right. Doesn't smell right. So what can we add to it to make it look right, at least?
Oh, no.
Are you ready for a list that's going to absolutely horrify you?
Yeah.
Brace yourselves, please. So this is in a time period before we had the FDA. Now, I don't...
However you feel about it.
However you feel about the FDA. The FDA has done a lot to keep us safe.
A lot, yeah.
And this is a time period before we had a ruling government body over all of the food everything to go, no, at people. I know that spiked.
It's been pretty high the whole time, but
Sorry.
It's all right.
I'm just loud and apparently really passionate about food. So they decided that since this milk wasn't right, they were going to try to make it right. So they began to add things to it to try to change the color, the texture, and the taste. Things that they added included molasses,
Okay.
burnt sugar, flour,
That's not going to be good for the yeast in the milk, but okay.
eggs, chalk,
That's what I was waiting for.
and plaster of Paris.
Back to the bread situation. Good God. They got that note from Victorian England.
Yep.
Yeah.
You read my mind. They were adding all sorts of stuff to turn this blue water into thick, appealing, creamy white goodness.
Now, post-germ theory, we know that adding a bunch of sugar starches from rice or flour or whatever.
Or just plaster of Paris.
Yeah.
Because that one stopped me dead. Why?
Ugh.
Why? What in your brain made you go, that is okay?
That's so fucking crazy.
Plaster of chalk, I could even understand.
Yeah, because some chalks you can actually drink. Like,
And
not chalk. Don't take but there are some chalks that come from things that you can drink. Like, for medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the same way that you can ingest charcoal.
Yeah. We're talking milk of magnesia type scenarios.
Don't go pull a charcoal brick from the barbecue and try to eat that. Don't do that.
Yeah, for real.
Don't do that.
Different stuff, yeah.
But like same concept. Like there are reasonable and safe ways to ingest these things if you need them. And this was not one of them.
No, this is straight up street chalk being poured into a vat. Almost
so,
certainly.
The correct quote unquote color and texture achieved in this Swill milk, they bottled it and began to sell it. Are you prepared for the name?
Sure.
Pure Country Milk. And boy howdy, did they really lean into the advertisement of this.
Oh my God.
Pure
Country Milk.
Yeah.
Not pure, not from the country, not milk.
Not milk anymore. Not sure if it was milk when it came out of the udder.
Oh.
So this goes on, and like I said, these distilleries started popping up in about 1830, right? And like they got going in the 1840s. Like this was a thing that went on for a while, and then all of a sudden, can't imagine what the correlation is. The child and infant mortality rates began to skyrocket. Because I don't know if the average listener knows this or not, but baby formula has not always been around.
Right.
As we understand it now. As a nutrient and usually protein rich powder that you add to water that becomes a substitute food for your infant because you either are trying to wean them or you cannot produce breast milk.
Right.
And
as many, many women in the past could not. Thus the idea of the wet nurse.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And this is the time period where the wet nurse as a profession is kind of being phased out because lower and middle class women are kind of being like socially urged to wean their babies more quickly. The lower class so she can get to work, and the middle class so she can kind of assume the role of social niceties.
Yeah.
And then there's this weird morality thing happening at the same time because this is a particular time period where like alcohol be running through the streets.
Yeah. Everybody's drinking.
Everybody's drinking. And so there's this also because it's like the only safe thing to drink. And so there's this like there's this moral and social outcry kind of movement happening. It's called the temperance movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You already know.
It comes with it comes with good things like women's rights, but
True.
it also comes with dumb things like like you not being able to get fresh water anywhere you go because there's no beer around.
Yeah. And so and right along with the temperance movement is this weird we saw kind of a resurgence of it like recently, quote unquote, in the last like 20, 30 years, where like breastfeeding became this like debate for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
You're literally just feeding your child. It's not my fault that you see tits and get an erection. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like mad about it.
No, this is like we're coming in a little bit later from this. We're going to come into like the belief that Freud had, which is that like if how much tit your kid did or did not get will affect them in the future. And then and also because for the wealthy, especially in the South, previous to slavery ending, it was considered bad form to breastfeed your kid because you would have an enslaved person do this.
Yeah.
And one of the many very dark things in U.S. history, unfortunately.
I read an entire paper that I actually have pulled up on my computer still that I can send you. That is like kind of the rise and fall of the wet nurse.
Yeah.
Along with that, and it was a really good read, and I was crying by the end of it because this is our history, and this is one of the unsavory things that nobody really wants to talk about, but you need to so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
You need to face your mistakes, learn and grow from them.
Yeah. So much of the modern male gaze around how breasts look is also directly correlated into the shunning to some degree of breastfeeding. Is like one of the things that came about this was like so that your breasts will stay nice, essentially.
Yeah. That was
nice, quote unquote.
That was part of it too. But so like there is this whole thing around breastfeeding at this time. Like some women just can't. That's just your body never produces.
Yeah.
So you have to find a substitute to feed your child. And with the decline of wet nursing as a profession, what's the next best thing?
Yeah, milk.
So
yeah, the more orange, the better. Like the more colostrum.
Colostrum. Yep. Thank you for knowing that.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Brian.
Only reason why that raw milk shit came into vogue was over colostrum.
Colostrum, yeah, which you can
just make in your kitchen. It's not
Anyway, we better shoot off on a whole nother tangent. Yeah. Mad. So now imagine you have an infant. You either are trying to wean them or you just cannot produce. You cannot breastfeed your child. So your next best option at the time, because the science hasn't caught up yet, that's just how it is milk. Like dairy milk, raw, straight from the cow milk. And now you live in a city instead of out in the country, perhaps, and you are being advertised fresh country milk. And it is 6 cents for a quart as opposed to the 14 cents that you will have to spend 2 to 3 times this week because the milk no longer lasts as long as it did.
Yeah.
And your child needs to eat 7 to 8 times a day. What are you going to do?
Yep.
You're going to buy the 6 cents. So in the course of, this is a very long stretch of time where like kids and infants are just dying in droves. I read in a paper, like a newspaper clipping, that was reporting on this. I don't think it was from the time period. I think it was probably relatively recent. I think it was like 2018.
Okay.
Looking back on it. But it was estimated that nearly half of the babies in Manhattan died.
I can believe that. Not necessarily from this alone, right? Because you still have like...
Well, yeah, you still
SIDS,
have tuberculosis and SIDS and cholera and all of the other nasty things happening at the same time. On top of their primary source of nourishment is now loaded with chalk.
And also, like, if you introduce, like, if you have a milk that's just a bunch of rice flour got added into it to make it white, and it has yeast in it, or if it has any other bacteria in it, doesn't have to be yeast, it could be anything. Yeah,
this is nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's just these
just children are these people, like, because it's not even just kids that are getting sick and dying.
Oh, it's gonna be anyone.
It's anybody, but they are like it's like dysentery.
Yeah, you're just right. Because, like, normally, like, an amount of yeast on your food's perfectly normal. The fruit that we eat has yeast on it all the time.
Yeah.
If you're filling your gut full of it, though, and then you're going to get, like, listeria bacteria, and then you're going to get, like, anything that enters that process line now has the milk it can feed on, so fats. If it's a fat-feeding bacteria that does well in that, it's in the milk. You've put shit in it to make sugars be available, so anything that feeds on sugars is in the milk. Gross, dude.
Yeah, this is awful.
Ugh.
So, in about the mid 1840s, one dude stands up and goes, "Hold the fuck up. This shit ain't right." And of course, he said it much more eloquently than I did.
Maybe.
And this gentleman's name was Robert M. Hartley. Don't ask me what the M stands for anymore. I don't know. I could have told you yesterday, but I
motherfucking. That's what it is. Robert motherfucking Hartley.
I don't know. But so this guy was attached to the temperance movement. So let me preface the statement with that. So when he immediately stands up and starts like protesting against these dairies attached to these distilleries and the milk that they're putting out, and like he's accusing them of causing all of these illnesses, he doesn't get much traction on it because he's part of the temperance movement, and the temperance movement is not popular because they want to get rid of booze. By the way, the temperance movement does eventually turn into prohibition.
Yes.
But that's about 60 years from now.
But it doesn't really get popular until it attaches itself to the women's suffrage movement.
Correct. So at this guy is essentially he writes papers, he writes letters, he gets published in the newspaper, but he is the equivalent of that one really like religious dude that stands in the parking lot and screams at you from on top of a milk crate. Oh, hey, milk crate.
Yeah. He was there the whole time.
And so it's kind of that. So his accusation sort of peters out. But people have started to notice a correlation. Like doctors specifically are like, it becomes a thing of if your child is ill, send them to the country.
Right. Which was always because fresh air, fresh food, like especially if you're a Quaker.
Yeah.
Right. Clean fresh food is a thing that they liked.
And the thing is, it works. Like the people that can send their like travel out to the country with their ill child, the kid recovers. Like it's working.
So you can rule out tuberculosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, unless you have galloping tuberculosis, in which case you could in fact go into remission for years.
Ugh. See our previous episode.
The New England Vampire Panic.
Yeah.
Starring Mercy Brown. Anyway, so yeah. He doesn't really get much movement, but he doesn't go completely unheard. And it takes another 10 years or so for somebody else to take up the crusade. Take up the crusade. Like, fuck this shit. People are dying. And no one's doing anything about it. Everybody's been paid off. What the fuck? And that was our buddy Frank Leslie in 1858. Are you noticing that very large time gap in there?
Yeah, that's a pretty big. Well, I imagine during the course of like the Civil War and a lot of other things and Reconstruction, people were kind of occupied elsewhere. But yeah. So he comes. What year is this again?
1858. So we're coming up on the Civil War, right? We're not quite there yet, but tensions are brewing. Shit's getting real. You know the vibe.
Yeah.
And the vibe is and so this guy Frank Leslie, who is actually a pen name for Henry Carter. I looked him up. He did a lot of stuff, but he didn't like go down in history as like a dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He went down in history as a woman. No, so not as a. The reason why I say is because there's a lot of famous Carters.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, his main thing was that he ran multiple newspapers.
Oh, okay.
And his newspapers were like fully illustrated, which was a big like a big fancy deal. Like we're used to having pictures in the newspaper.
Yeah, sure.
That is the nature of the beast for us. We're used to that.
Different back when you're making like types though, because somebody has to make cuttings of these or not cuttings.
Oh, thank you for knowing that.
They're lithographs, basically.
So our boy, I'm gonna call him Frank Leslie. Like I'm gonna go by his nom de plume, just out of respect.
Yeah.
Because he's also referenced as Frank Leslie throughout like all of my research. Like I had to go and dig to find out that you're actually Henry Carter.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because
you've done your job right when like history remembers you by your other name.
Yeah. So I went digging and I found that, and it turns out that this guy has gotten wind of this story somehow. And instead of following in Robert Hartley's footsteps of, getting up on the soapbox and they're killing the babies.
Oh, he's got newspapers, though.
Oh, he does. He does, in fact, 16-page, fully illustrated newspapers. And he runs 2 of them. And this is the 3rd that he starts up just to cover the story. So he literally sends in spies, like his reporters and artists, to get like part-time jobs in these breweries and dairies to like check up on this shit. Because like any good reporter, he's like, hang on, there's something here.
Yeah, and he wants accuracy.
Correct. And so he gets his spies in there. It's so espionage. He gets his spies in there, and the reports come back that conditions inside the dairy farms, are horrific. I'm talking about like cows in pens so small they cannot move, they cannot lay down. Rotten hooves, rotten teeth. Like cows that are so hungry, as I mentioned earlier, like you remember when I said they wouldn't eat the mash?
Yeah.
These are cows that are so hungry that they are eating boiling mash. Like it is still like steaming, bubbling hot coming out of the chutes into the troughs. And they're so hungry, they're so malnourished that they're eating it.
And
they are ulcerated, they're covered in ulcers and sores.
Yeah.
Their teeth are rotten.
They can't move around to clean themselves because cows are all herd animals, basically. Do herd cleaning.
Yeah.
And then also, like, they have fucking 4 stomachs, like, for a reason. They
Yeah.
take a very specific kind of diet.
And like further things that I read in these reports, and like these 2 I'm kind of curious about because I couldn't really, like, digging into like veterinary stuff, couldn't really find a basis for it, but they did report that they had cows that like their tails were rotting and falling off, and so were their horns.
I have a possibility for you.
Okay.
We did an episode on screwworms.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
this would have been well before this was figured out. If you have a lot of cows that cannot move around.
Yeah.
And
You have a parasite problem.
You've got a parasite problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
This might be from ticks. This might be from like the open sores might just be from different kinds of fly. Like screwworms are a kind of fly. Lyme disease, any number of things.
They also reported that the cows were standing in their own manure.
That's
like no one was mucking the stalls.
Yeah.
And it just continues to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse as they report. So their spies come back. They get the cuttings. How to describe this? They take these wood blocks and they chisel and carve out the relief of the image.
Sure. Yeah.
So that when I'm trying to explain to them, and I think I'm doing a bad job of it, but they dip it in ink and then they press it into the paper, and that's how you get your pictures.
Yeah, this is this. It's
actually, like a great big stamp.
This is actually why I said the cuttings at first, because I thought they would have moved past this by then. So it's not like a lithograph, but it is like wood block printing.
Yeah, like, and you can look up these images. Like all you really have to do is Google Frank Leslie and then like swill milk, and they're everywhere. Like there are lots of surviving ones, like in these newspaper clippings. But the story breaks and it hits with such a splash that like there is almost instant public outcry because almost everyone has either lost a child or knows someone that has lost a child to all of these, to what people are largely beginning to suspect is the problem.
Yeah, because it's going to be like diphtheria.
Yeah.
All these kids are going to essentially have cholera-like symptoms.
Yeah, and that was allegedly overheard of one of the boss dudes saying to someone is that they can't parse out who is sick from what we've done to the milk and who has cholera, who has tuberculosis.
Jeez.
It was an eyes wide open situation.
Yeah, cholera is fucking gnarly.
Cholera is nasty.
You die from dehydration by just shitting and throwing up and pissing until you die. I mean, like you can survive it.
And the worst part is for cholera specifically is that they were feeding them the flour and water mixture which was just making it worse
Yeah.
because it was in the water.
Oh, right. It was in there the whole, because this is before water sanitation.
Mm-hmm.
And without any closed system, like we figured it out in London because they mapped the people who were dying of cholera and figured out it came from this single wellhead. When they capped it off, people stopped getting cholera in the area. So that was the way they proved it. It was like, well, it has to be bacteria in the water.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So
Yeesh.
these people knew exactly what they were doing.
Oh, they always do, though.
I know. I still live in this like little sunshine character bubble of like people will always do the right thing in the end. No, they won't.
Yeah, money corrupts.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. So public outcry is to the point where like the city officials that have been paid off at this point by the dairy and the brewery and the distillery or whichever like monopoly power is running all of that, they've paid all these people off. Don't have any choice but to send in an investigative team. And it sucks because all of the people that go in are on payroll. They've already been bribed. Like it's so bizarre because there was a report of like one of these investigations into like a brewery was being inspected and they warned them a day ahead of time. Like they sent a messenger to say, "Hey, we're coming in tomorrow."
Oh, this is straight up like in this time period, straight in New York. This is Tammany Hall.
Yeah.
This is like a bunch of beat cops being paid.
And
that sucks.
Not only that, but in one case, one of the aldermen, which is a community elected like official type, because I had to you know how there are some words that you know what they mean, like you recognize the context clues around it versus the actual definition of the word.
Yes,
alderman was one of those for me
because we don't have them down here.
Yeah,
that's old like almost a Dutch thing. I mean, like you'll have them in like New England. But
yeah,
a city councilman.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Basically. And so one of the aldermen, one of the three aldermen that is selected to lead this investigation into the conditions of this dairy farm is seen going into the farm the night before multiple times. It's so obviously a payoff job.
Yeah.
But they conduct the investigation and the aldermen find in favor of the dairy. Oh, everything's fine. You just need to add some more ventilation. Well, the public doesn't take this lying down. They're like, the fuck? What? No. More and more outcry. And it gets to the point where it makes it to a hearing, to a trial. The problem is fucking everyone is on payroll.
Yeah.
Fucking everyone. Like to the point where during this trial, the brewery / distillery or dairy is allowed to testify first.
Yeah.
Like, as the party being accused, I have a very limited experience and or knowledge with, like, courtly stuff outside of, like, Law and Order.
Right.
And even then, I recognize that is fantasticized and, like, fiction.
But you do normally have a prosecution.
Yeah.
I accuse you of this, and then you have a defense.
Yeah, you have a plaintiff and you have a defense. And usually the plaintiff goes first, airing, like, these are all the issues that I have. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're alleging that they're not alleging, like, criminality. This is a group of people suing someone, I'm
basically.
Guessing?
Like,
okay.
Yeah. It seemed to have worked a bit different in 18 Dick.
Probably.
But, that's how it came across to me. Once again, I have a very limited knowledge of this, and my one friend who's got like law stuff was busy, so I couldn't call her and be like, "Explain this to me. I'm dumb."
Pretty much, it boils down to if it's if the state is doing it as a criminal charge or if it's a civil suit.
It seemed to be a civil suit.
Yeah, that sounds like what it is for me. If you had a plaintiff, it's almost always a civil suit.
And so it came down, and so the Big Bad Dairy got to testify first. And apparently they had done such a good job, like, paying off all of the people. Like, all three of the aldermen, like, testified in court at the hearing that swill milk may be better for the children than regular milk.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, wow. Here's the thing. Here's what gets me. Here's what tripped me the fuck up reading this. Because I found a podcast because I tried to find like the minutes, or not the minutes. What's
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, that's the right word?
Yeah, for
Hey, look at me go.
whatever the stenographer in today's, the stenographer would record
The court
the
recordings.
logs, as you might say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to go find those, and I really couldn't. Like, I found bits and pieces, but I did find a
What is it for court transcript?
Yes,
That's
the word.
I was like, it's not minutes. That's a meeting.
Yeah, that's like city
transcript.
Hall. Thank you. I could not, but I tried to find it, and I really couldn't. I could find snippets of it. But apparently the podcast that I found, which was What You Missed in History Class, which shout out to them. You guys are great. They found it and they went through it. And I listened to them talk it out. And man, when I tell you this whole hearing was a farce. Because like the plaintiffs, like, you know, the people coming like, hey, the milk is making people sick, had doctors coming in. Doctors! Now, granted, I recognize that we are in the period of medical...
Yeah.
You got ghosts in your blood. Do cocaine about it.
But this is pretty basic shit. It's like, yeah, eat rocks, get sick.
Yeah.
Like that's...
So they had doctors coming in to testify that, like, you know, once the children are taken off of this milk, like once they have stopped ingesting this, they tend to get better if they're not too far gone.
Yeah, for
Common
real.
denominator here. The problem is somehow the defense, I'm just going to refer to them as that right now, makes it all seem stupid.
Because they got to go first, so they could poison the well of any argument that came at them.
And it's... Yeah. What happens is the trial goes on, and it is eventually like they are awarded their freedoms, and like the thing is dismissed, basically. And they can't countersue or anything because nothing happened. Like there were no charges, so you can't...
Right.
You were mean to me. Meh. They can't do that.
The worst that they could do is say, well, if they're a person, it would be, you know, defamation.
Yeah.
But that's what the court case is for. The defamation lawsuit would be against like the newspaper.
Yeah.
You know, like that's...
So they find in favor of the distilleries / the dairies, but it makes the situation itself makes such a splash that there are... Shut up. Sorry, reading my own notes. Do you occasionally crack yourself up when you... Okay.
Yeah, because
cool.
I sometimes write like nonsense stuff, and I look down and I'm like, what was I talking about right here?
So the Board of Health ruled in favor of the distilleries. I'm just straight reading my notes at this point. But the audacity pissed off the public so much that it forced them to pass food and safety laws and regulations in 1862. Like this was ongoing, right?
Yeah.
And those, you remember those 3 aldermen that I talked to you about, that like they were in the charge of the investigation, and they were, you know, bigwigs, and they testified that swill milk is safe and better for you. These dudes tried to keep these regulations from being passed.
Oh, so
they tried to block them.
It became obvious. Yeah.
It's like to the point where one of them was previously known as the Butcher. Like that was like his nickname because he was apparently like kind of a bit of a badass in court or something.
Oh, okay.
He had a reputation. The Butcher was replaced with Swill Milk as his like moniker.
Oh, wow.
So,
jeez. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense because I mean, I'll never know like Harvey Weinstein as the producer, right?
Yeah.
Of, like the fucking creep Harvey Weinstein, you know, like
yeah.
Right, or any of those like people in the public eye who have turned out to be horrible, horrible people.
I need you to know that like the only example my brain came up with, like, well, Obi-Wan was called the Negotiator. Shut up, brain. Please stop. Stop fangirling for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Please. Get your shit together. Also, they only called him the Negotiator because they couldn't call him the Flirt.
Speaking, just quick one aside. I will pay the extra $4 for this long episode. Anytime you have these fucking things, it always turns out really bad. Like nobody goes against like whatever city council member or whatever kind of runs the place or is taking a lot of bribes or owns it or whatever. It's like manor law shit, right?
Yeah.
You can't say anything against the Lord because they own everything. And I always get the vibe from these stories with that. It's like the rich people in these scenarios own or own so much that they can pay off fucking everyone, regardless of what happens.
Well, I'm here to give you just a little bit of good news. Now, they unsuccessfully blocked those regulations. So the regulations went through. Like there were lots and lots and lots of rules put into place about what you can and cannot add to food that you're going to sell commercially. It's kind of the beginning of the FDA. Now, granted, we won't get the FDA until
like the 1940s or something, right?
I think so. I wrote it down. 1906.
Oh, that's much earlier than I thought.
So milk regulation begins in 1862 specifically. And then, lo and behold, our boy, Louis Pasteur, gets to work in 1862 to 1864. And pasteurization becomes the norm.
Yeah.
Now, we also have another name to thank for that, who basically put the final nail in like the swill milk industry, and that is Nathan Strauss. And that is a name that I have never heard before. I had no idea who this person was previous to like 2 days ago, when I was like, who the hell are you? Apparently, this man, he's kind of become one of my heroes.
Yeah.
This man, not only he had the money, he also had the audacity to go, this is bullshit. This should be like regulation everywhere. I'm going to just pay to put pasteurization labs and milk facilities everywhere in New York. This man paid for like 100 of them.
Wow.
In New York.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What was he, like a prince or something? Like
as far as I could find a whole bunch of stuff, but basically he was just a super fucking rich philanthropist, like Tony Stark levels.
Wow. Jeez.
And I think I've seen a picture of him now, and he's giving. Do you remember the rich granddad in like Journey to Atlantis?
Yes.
Him. That's the vibe he's giving.
Okay.
Like the picture of him that I found, he was giving. I have so much money and I just want to help people.
What
vibes.
was his name?
His name was Nathan Strauss.
Nathan Strauss.
Yes.
Nathan C. Strauss.
Did you find a picture of him?
I'm looking it up because when you put it up, it says the Gibson Drum Jewish Center. Oh, he does look like a nice old grandpa.
Doesn't
He's just like smiling like this with his round glasses. Very, very German looking.
He got that hair. He got the hair.
Yeah. yeah. The Karl Marx, as I call it sometimes. Yeah. What a cool thing. Okay.
So he essentially shut all that shit down and made it just straight up irrelevant. Just because he had the money and said, all right, I got the money. I got the time. I am the one. Let's go.
Would you like to know a cool thing about Nathan Strauss?
Yes. Because I saw your face as you read it. Please.
Remember the miracle on, was it 31st Street?
Really?
He is the owner of Macy's.
He's the owner of Macy's?
Yeah. He was the owner of Macy's.
Yes.
So he is in fact that old man.
Yes.
Children philanthropist, almost exclusively for public health and child welfare.
Snaps all around to this guy. Yes.
He is Santa Claus.
I love him. So yeah, he essentially shut that shit down and saved countless lives. Just by no, pasteurization is a thing now.
Nice.
Sprinkles money on it.
Yeah. All the money and because they were like Sears and Roebuck and Macy's were like the first mass box retailers.
Yeah. I knew that.
Yeah. So they had a lot of money.
So yeah, that's swill milk, my friends. Shut down by somebody's nice old grandpa.
How cool. Damn. So you have introduced me to one of my another one of I'll have to do some more reading on him. But I
really hope he's not an asshole.
No, I'm reading I believe they mean Palestine, New York. But it says the last 20 years of his life largely devoted to public health work in Palestine resulted in the building of 2 major health centers and many child welfare stations.
So he just is a good guy.
It looks like he is just known as a philanthropist.
And yeah, that was all I could find on him too. I couldn't. I'm happy you found the Macy's thing. That's awesome.
What a cool thing. There's a Nathan Strauss Housing Authority. There's a Jewish center in the Bronx. There are schools, playgrounds, houses.
Bruh.
It doesn't seem like I put in scandal.
And nothing?
Well, there's only 4 results immediately. It says, like, when I put in scandal, it brings up milk pasteurization, meaning that he was, like, the good part of the scandal.
Yeah. Isn't this great?
It
it took forever, but we got a happy ending.
Yeah. Like, no, that's really cool.
Like from 1830, I want to say 1834, but don't quote me on that, to about 18, like, I've already closed my notes, but it was something like 1868 or something.
Would you like to know another neat thing about Strauss?
Please.
So when I entered his name under people, Stockton Rush, and a bunch of other Strausses what came up under, like, relatives. Also, King Princess.
That's a name.
I think so. King Princess is a queer pop musician. Like,
okay.
So something that's kind of on my right. I say queer pop music, very popular with lesbians, and so that's why I know who they are. So I was just like, King Princess, and I think they might be related. That's really cool, though. I'm horrified by the milk.
Yeah.
Because, like, piping in, like, factory farms are pretty rough to begin with. And I may have been wrong about some of the stuff I said about, like, if dairy cows are. I know that meat products for, like, pork usually are done this way in factory farms. The idea of pumping hot wort down pipes to feed cows is so gross. Like, in the modern sense, like, we have feeding systems now for all kinds of farm animals, but usually they are, like, optimized diets, right? So for, like, they're high calorie, high fat,
and not just, like, cast off from making beer, and that's it. And and usually in diets like that, they're also supplemented with stuff. Yeah,
usually, like, your mainstay for like pigs, for instance, is going to be corn.
Yeah.
Corn, and that's most animals. That's like the mainstay of your feed is either, like, hay wheat, like hay, wheat, or corn. And because those things are easy to grow by the acre, they don't go bad that quick. Especially like corn, you flake it and dry it. It's why whiskey is made the way it's made, or specifically bourbon, is because people were growing corn for other things and they just had it. So, like, whiskey industry has always been a kind of like, what do you do with your unused wheat? Like, you make beer, you make whiskey, or in the case of America's first hard liquor, apple cider, you put it in kegs in the winter as it freezes. The water freezes, separates and freezes. You remove the ice. Yeah, and then you get a higher and higher proof of alcohol called hard cider or apple jack, which is where that word comes from. And so, like, that's why, like, I'd have to do more research on this, but it does seem like King Princess is related to this guy.
Period. So, let's go. Just a family of people. Like, yes, the green flags all the way around.
It's really neat.
So yeah, that's Swill milk, and like I said, it took us a minute, but we got a happy ending out of it.
Yeah,
and a new, like, personal hero.
This guy was fucking old when he died too.
Yeah,
1931 is when he died. He was a member of the Democratic Party in the time that it was switching to, like, the FDR Democrats, which is the good side, right? Before that, like, before when it was like Dixiecrats, it was the bad kind of, like, pro-slavery Democrat, but, like,
we do not stand.
Yeah. This is, wow. What? Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That's cool. He just because he had the money.
Because he had the money.
He just did it.
Yep.
That's so dope.
Yeah, I know.
That's a real, like, Carnegie situation.
Bro, when I tell you that, like, by the end of this, like, while I felt I was nearing the end of my research on this, I was so, like, heartbroken. I was like, how did this stop? How did we stop them from doing this? Like, obviously the regulations, but come on, if you're in that deep, you're not going to pay attention to any regulations. You're going to pay the fine.
Yeah.
Pay the fine and move on. How did we Oh. And one man rose up and said, "Fuck you." Yeah. Like, it was, I don't know, it felt, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I can't find it. I'm, like, grabbing at it.
What does it mean?
Gratifying. It was very gratifying to have someone in history, recorded in history, as literally going down and being like, no, I'm going to be your problem now. I'm going to shut your entire industry down and save lives doing it. Hell yes.
That is, yeah. Man,
So-
I love it when that stuff happens. It's like sometimes it's so rare because
Mhm.
people of this generation, if they were super rich, like they thought of themselves as like lords.
Mhm.
So if you are an actual lord in France or England or wherever, right, you felt like it was your job
Mhm.
to make sure that there were jobs in your territory or good roads or water or whatever. And the American aristocracy thought of themselves as that. So you get like Carnegie. He half the libraries in the country were built by his like death fund. He had a trust fund built for this, a foundation still around that went and built a ton of libraries and music halls.
Mhm.
And then you had real assholes like John D. Rockefeller.
Yeah.
They built centers that were, like they did stuff. But even guys like that who were like kind of bloodthirsty, they did stuff with their like vast money. They didn't just hoard it, and they would build things with their names on it, right? And not just for the purpose of their own self-aggrandizing, but they saw themselves as part of like a society, right? I'm not sure that's the case anymore with most people. In fact,
Decidedly not.
Decidedly not. Yeah, the only thing that even comes up is like Trump Tower, and it's like that's not a good example at
No.
all. But Bill Gates, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is like the closest thing I can really think, because they threw millions and millions and millions of dollars at all kinds of shit, like the Khan Academy. But it's not prevalent enough. You know what I mean? Like for it to matter.
I agree. At the risk of socially misstepping here, to quote Billie Eilish, if you're a billionaire, why?
Yeah, why?
Listen, we need more Bruce Waynes.
Yeah, they just
Not necessarily Batman.
Yeah.
Let me just state that.
I would pay good money to see Elon Musk try to fight crime.
No comment.
In a tricked out Cybertruck.
Jesus. All right. I'm cutting you off. Jesus. All right. So thank you for joining us on this one. I wanted to end it a little bit on a feel good note because, the world kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
And while learning about things in history is fun, sometimes you need a little bit of a pick me up. And there are good people out there. There are good people that have money out there that are willing to look the status quo in the eye and go, fuck you.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I would like my blue milk to be because I put some kind of flavoring powder in it.
I would like my blue milk to be because I have somehow transmigrated into the Star Wars universe. Thank you very much.
I'm going to think about that every time I see that Luke scene when he's drinking blue milk. I'm like, don't do it, Luke. It's swill milk.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He grew up in a desert. He's ingested more chalk and talc.
Metachlorians won't save you from cholera, Luke. Jeez.
We're clearly done. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, this is Brian from Morbid Mondays. If you like the show, please consider stopping by at our Ko-fi account. That's ko-fi/Morbid Mondays. It's $1 a month, or just any one-time tip. And if you would like to help us fund our future endeavors or just want to show a little bit of appreciation, awesome. Thank you so much for listening. And if you don't. Whatever. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.